Come here! Mark. Yeah! Oh no! Damn! Ooh, yeah!
What is up, all you lovelies out there? There's 0 of you, but for the replay, you're beautiful. This is Breaking Rad. This is a show that we do sometimes. I am your host for the evening because we ain't got no macho, we ain't got no mutt. We got Cal, and we have a man shrouded in darkness.
David the
Drag the dead David Murdoch tonight. Kind of an impromptu stream. We don't got a ton planned, but apparently we have some rants to go through tonight, some video games to discuss. So I'm gonna pass the ball here. Pass the hot potato over here to Cal. There you go. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Cal. I'm the guy to Mark's left.
Give me that potato back.
When I talked to Dave earlier, he mentioned a few topics, and I forgot what those were.
You know what Dave looks like right now? He looks like the Grudge poster. You remember the Grudge? It's like kind of like green and dark, and it's just like those creepy eyes.
It's just the one eye.
He looks like
the hair.
You look like that.
I don't have the hair to pull that look off.
You got a nice long beard. Just hang upside down. It'll do the trick. You know what? I've been very nostalgic and sad lately for how things used to be back in the day. I've actually resorted to I go on YouTube and I look up recordings people made of radio stations from the 80s. And I just sit and I listen to that when I work now. I play a YouTube video that's like an hour long of somebody who just recorded on a cassette player the radio back in like 1987 on like a New York station.
Cool.
like with the commercials and everything.
Oh yeah, it's got everything. Commercials are terrible. It's amazing. One of them was it was a car dealership, and they were pretending to be like a church, like trying to get you to come to the altar, but they're trying to advertise you going to their car dealership. It was the most
weird,
horrible thing I've ever listened to. It was like, come on down, you need those tires uplifted, and some of your tires are getting low, and you need to come to the altar of Fred's dealership off the I-95 turnpike.
It's really hilarious because churches now act like car dealerships to attract people. So it's kind of reverse.
It was a sign of the times. It was it was.
Come on in. We'll give you. We're raffling off iPads, and we have a guy jumping a pastor on the motorcycle, and that's.
Back when I was growing up, we would just have like a church picnic, and maybe you get like a free hot dog if. Usually they weren't cooked very well because it was just some Joe Schmo in the church with a grill. I'll make you some burgers, and they're always well done. Too well done.
Yeah. Hot dogs are not cooked all the way, and the burgers are well done.
It's just whatever condiments they had in the church kitchen. They're just gonna put out like a half thing of like expired ketchup and.
And it says Deacons written on it in Sharpie.
Deacon. Was there war between the deacons and the trustees at your church? Was that like they put like a line of tape down the church, and like, this is the deacon side, you stay on the trustee side?
We never had a war like that, but I'd love to watch a show about that or something.
My dad was a deacon.
Good movie.
Yeah,
my dad was a deacon growing up, and you got to hear all kinds of juicy stuff from there was so much like more drama came out of like the deacons board than anywhere else in the church. People arguing over like power struggles in the church. It's like this deacon went and made this announcement when it was supposed to be the other deacon that made that announcement, and this one was out of town when they made this decision, and so we have to do it over. And
church politics, man.
Yeah, I love it. Love church politics.
and not nearly as enticing and exciting as the subjects we have tonight. For one,
Is
our
that
good
true?
friend David the Dime, aka Drag the Dead, his game Drag the Dead is on sale on Steam right now. For how much?
25% off
Oh, we
This
need a
week.
DJ
5%
air
off.
horn for that.
this week. This is if
This
you
week
got it on
only.
your wish list, this is the week to get it. Because I'm never doing this again ever. In fact, after the sale, I'm going to increase the price.
People not taking advantage of the sale.
$39.99. I don't. It just started.
Oh,
Not enough people are taking advantage of it, but you know it's early in the week. Might have to wait for payday. Let's see what Friday yields.
do I get paid?
I'm running a really big ad right now for it, and it's really interesting. I was gonna. Oh, let me pull it up. I'll
Oh.
give you some of the analytics
Yeah.
on the ad. So these are Twitter ads, and I really like them, at least as far as like how you can really hone them in. Where is it?
Do-do-do. Every time he goes to like look something up, he like gets shrouded in darkness again. It's
Yeah.
see, it looks like The Grudge. I'm gonna look up that poster for The Grudge and show you
like
exactly
to-
why he looks like this.
I like to keep it dark.
Grudge poster. There we go.
Twitter is not being.
That's good. Cal, what are your topics for tonight while we wait for? Here it is. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Here you go. Let me pull this
Oh.
up here.
Yeah. Pull
I'll
it.
wait for Dave
pull it
to
up.
pull his nonsense up. I'll save the stream by showing this comparison. This is what Dave looks like tonight down there. There he's back now.
But his hair isn't hanging in front of his other
I
eye.
said, if he hung upside down, the beard would do it for him. But it's all good.
Twitter's being really disagreeable at the moment. It's not
Are
giving.
you guys hearing the
money.
rumors that Musk is gonna just make Twitter? You have to pay for it.
No.
That's supposedly a rumor going around. He kind of supposedly it was incorrect, and he was considering making a lower tier, like a lower premium tier, like for cheapskates. But people are suspecting that he's gonna make the switch to just make Twitter a paid service, and that'll be the end of that. And then maybe my Truth Social stock will go up again. I can make some money.
That would be
Kind
the
of every
dumbest
day I pray
decision
for the downfall of
ever.
Twitter so I can make some of my money back on Truth Social.
Well, I do hope you make your money back, but that would be a very, very stupid decision on Musk's part. My gosh.
They benefit me. Were you able to find what you're looking for?
No, it won't pull up.
All right.
It will not pull up. It was the analytics, because the last time that I was looking at the analytics, it's always interesting to me, but they won't come up.
Well, look,
They
while you're
won't
doing
come up
that,
on the
I'm gonna show
computer,
off-
but okay, hold on.
Oh,
Got it.
You got
I got it.
something?
Yeah, if I check on my phone, then I can
All
see.
right.
So the ad is targeted. Well, I have it to either male or female, and then ages 13 to 49.
This is very bigoted of you.
Because
but okay.
the other cutoff is like 34, and I want to go a little bit older.
kind of an
But
ageist
the difference between male and female is 68 points. This is always funny. 30 for engagement, 30% female, 68.7% male,
Hmm.
and then 1.3% other. So, but the major age range is 20 to 29, like 60%. But the thing that's really interesting, because I have this here in Japan, the engagement from the US is like 15%. And the engagement from Japan is 85%.
Holy crap.
Wow.
They would say you're big in Japan, right? And then
Maybe. This is
Oh,
out of
yes.
220,000 impressions. So, and this is still going to run for
dang.
another 48 hours.
Can you what is it is there like a different language in Japan when they play the game? Like did you record it in different
No,
languages?
we didn't do multiple languages for it. You saw the Japanese ad though, right?
Yeah, the ad was amazing. Ooh, the dead dog.
That one, I ran that ad only in Japan, not in the US.
That was an amazing ad. You should have played that over here. you'd have made a killing.
all
today.
the weaves would be all over it.
Oh my gosh. Well, that should be your market. Don't tell Mutt that, but get the weebs.
What does Mutt know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of
Did
them.
you? Yeah, it's a good one. I tweaked this ad though, the current one. So I put this on the community page for the game on Steam. They're like the first comment that somebody made about the game. This is not somebody who played the game, right? But they got to get on and make their comment. They just posted the headline of their or title of their post was "Another woke game that will fail," and then they said "Groomers buzz off." That was their post. So the most like conversation has happened on that one because thankfully the majority of people are like, "You're totally missing the."
You
Yeah.
clearly didn't
Of
play
this.
the game.
So for the new ad, it's the one I've been running, but I tweaked it a bit. But at the beginning of the ad, I have in like quotes, it like pops out. It says "Another woke game," boom, like that will fail. And I quoted the person, like their name, and it says Steam, so it's like, psh, psh. Then
That's awesome.
yeah, I like it. I'm happy with it.
That's great. I used to have a
getting-
game in the App Store. It was a rock paper scissors game. It was called Pro Rock Paper Scissors. And hey, welcome Benjamin Soto. You
What
couldn't
up?
leave the kids alone. But I had a review. It had one review, and it was so stupid a baby could play it. 1 star, and I used to use that for my advertising for the game. It was so stupid a baby could play it 1 star.
Yeah,
It was
That's
pro rock paper scissors. You had more options than rock paper and scissors, and then the opponent, when they lost, they would die, like their head would explode, or they get cut in half or something. But
I think
that's
it's
good
brilliant.
marketing. Those bad reviews are good marketing. You got to keep that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. Then there was one guy who went to he went on like every little thread and had to make sure that he told everybody that he does not like drag queens. Like he had to oh, I actually replied to him. I could read you
But does he love the game, and that's why he's just telling everybody, like, look, I just want to make it clear, I'm not into it.
well, I mean, he was really like he really wanted everybody to know that he is not like
Well, that's because he's into it.
drag queens.
That's
Well, here's the
if you're going around ranting about it, that means you kind of got a thing for
where's the
for
thing?
their
What did he
drag
say?
shows.
Okay, so on this one thread, he said, "I have zero interest in playing as a drag queen, especially if it looks so boring." Then he says, "Come on, he has a bob haircut style, ZZZ. At least okay." So then he says, "At least make him an over-the-top, ridiculously exaggerated character with ponytails, horns, demon wings, leather, and spikes or something, like a
Ooh.
succubus drag queen."
That actually
So
would be
I-
kind of cool. You should actually reconsider that.
I responded to him. I said, I'm sure this didn't even sink in, but I said, "So you would have been more interested in a man role playing a succubus in BDSM leathers over a slightly more conservative take?" I said, "Noted."
No.
And
That's funny, dude.
so it was, yeah.
People, man.
It attracts. I mean, just because what the game is, it attracts a lot of smooth brain stuff that it's, it comes from the people on the right more than the left. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty interesting.
That's enough out of you. Shameful. Not in this stream, good sir.
Hey, we have super people on all sides. Super people are everywhere.
They
The-
are. I'm just
Super
talking about.
people
I'm
on the
just
right
talking about.
just happen to be right about stuff.
I'm just talking about on this particular thing.
Yeah.
It's like extremely reactionary. Like there's no thing as like nuance. There's no such thing as thinking. Like it's.
I mean, you must have had that in mind when you made it, though. Like, this is just gonna make stupid people really angry.
I didn't. There's people that are offended by this that I did not expect, and it's because like when we started working with Zane to do the role, he was like a big Trump supporter. He was like in the whole walk away thing, and at the time, like 2.5 years ago, it seemed like people on the right were more like tolerant of the concept that just because a person is identity X does not mean that they believe A, B, C, right? Like you can't say that a person believes a thing because of an identity, right? Like you can't say black people all think this, white people all think that, like, right? So that was more prominent at the time, but then things are what they are now, and the stuff going on now.
That's why it's hard to make a politically driven game because politics change so rapidly. Like you can't predict what the landscape is going to be by the time the game is actually done.
I wasn't trying to make a prediction. I just didn't think it would get that like much more insane.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It wasn't a prediction. This was kind of how things were, and so you create a game based on just what you know at the time, and then the game gets released, and like the landscape changes immediately.
Well, there's stuff we added. There's stuff we added along the way, like the whole time. Like what was the Chinese spy balloon thing? Like, remember that? Like, so when that happened in the last level of the game, like when you're playing, there's a satellite like following you. So it was like every time something would happen or something that was significantly hilarious, like we'd add something. It would be like I would add graffiti. Like there's graffiti in the game. It wasn't that long ago, but I saw somebody post on Twitter this like a list of words that need to be banned because they're ableist, right? And it was like crazy, nuts, spaz, this, like all these like words, right? So they're like, these are offensive ableist words. So immediately I went through the list and I started taking the words and I started making graffiti in the game. Just stupid stuff like that. It was a constant thing.
That was the Fortnite bus.
And then okay, so here's a confession, and this is not off the table. Okay, this is not off the table. But one of the things I thought, oh, we should talk about tonight is like the whole Starfield pronoun thing, right? When that happened, we were finishing up the last patch that we put in, right? And I was this close to talking to Kirk about adding a pronoun selection in the game, but like, so it wouldn't serve any purpose because there's nothing in the game that references
says
you
your
as
name.
a player. Like, yes, it would serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever. But I was thinking, I was like, what if we made the player choose what their pronoun was for no other reason than to have to choose their pronoun, except in the drop down that we would put every single pronoun that exists at the moment. So the list would be like probably like 70 pronouns people would have to scroll through to pick one. And that was it.
You gotta put like the his hers like at the very bottom too, so you have to scroll down through about 60
or just like randomly in there. No alphabet, not alphabetized, like nothing like that. Just to like have the player like have to pick a pronoun and put like literally every made up pronoun in the options.
You should have so whatever they pick,
you
tell them it's incorrect and they have to start over. Wrong.
So there's constant.
Well, Cal's a big fan of the pronoun system. He bought Starfield like the day they said that it was a pronoun thing, and he immediately bought it. Could not wait to.
I'd like viewers to know I did not buy Starfield. I played it on Xbox Game Pass because that's free there, and I played it for about 20 hours, and then I uninstalled it because it is a boring game. It's so banal. To be as huge as that is, yeah.
Gets attacked.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Stop giving this guy ideas.
The funny thing about the pronouns in that game is you pick them, and then the game never acknowledges your pronouns. And so the left people that they're trying to make happy are angry because the pronouns don't have any bearing on anything in the game.
Does the game actually just misgender you like nonstop throughout the whole game?
Yeah. And then the right people are upset because the pronouns are in the game. I think it's just stupid. Like I wouldn't give Bethesda my money just because I don't think they make good games anymore. But
What are they known for? What's Bethesda's big?
Fallout
Skyrim.
and Elder
Oh,
Scrolls.
are they the
Skyrim.
Skyrim people?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, okay, I take that
And
back.
Fallout?
I started playing a game called Ghostwire Tokyo the other night, made by Bethesda, and that game's cool, man. It's like a horror. Not, I wouldn't call it horror, but it's creepy stuff. It's like ghosts and monsters, and you're a guy who's like possessed by another guy and gives you magic powers, and you go around Tokyo like saving ghosts, and it's interesting. It's like, wow, good job, Bethesda. You made something interesting.
Saving ghosts.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like
ma'am.
opposite of the. It's- you know
I
what's funny
wanted
is
to,
if the game came out like 20 years ago and there was a pronoun option, would anybody even notice it?
No, they wouldn't. That's kind of the thing. But the whole thing was that the reaction heard around the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen all the memes that like were instantly generated just from like stills of that rant, like Wojak, like
Oh, the
raging.
heel versus babyface guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I have a hard time sitting through his rants.
I watched a short compilation of people on the left, like we're talking about like people like Vosh, watching that explosion, and I feel very rightly they were pointing out they're like, this is like the blue hair SJW type of scream,
but he's bald.
Rage reaction. Well, it's the same thing though. I did a little video on Rumble about it because I felt like I had to say something about the. Well, I mean, I've talked to you guys a lot more, right? So, like, you know what I think about the whole right-wing outrage circles and economy,
Mhm.
you know, and it was just that kind of thing. Like, it was. All I was thinking to myself is, you bought the last game and you bought this one and you're gonna buy the next one, and the whole like shock, like my pronouns, like it's
That was a
like,
great heel versus babyface impression.
don't act
blimey.
don't act surprised, like
Well, pronouns.
just shut up. Like if you buy a product, right? If I go buy a Marvel comic book, right, a new under Disney Marvel comic book, and I open it up and there's like a 3-page lecture in the book, there has to be a point when I'm no longer allowed to be shocked that it's in the book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's become the status quo that if I'm going to fork money over for a product from, lefty company X, that's what's going to be in there. And that's that. Like I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it, but to be like shocked that content is there, it's stupid. It's
I just stopped
really
buying all the
stupid.
things. I don't buy comics, modern
Well,
comics anymore.
this is an option. This is an option.
I've been fine. I've luckily I'm glad this happened in this day and age, because there's like 100 years worth of entertainment content that I can just recycle through now and be totally fine. Like I said, I'm literally listening to recordings on YouTube of people recording the radio from 1987, and it's fine. I'm totally content with that. I don't even need to. I could literally just like do a playlist of just old songs. It's more fun to listen to the radio stations. But I don't buy indie comics.
The other thing in my rant though was the whole thing about like building something, that there's this whole economy of people who are just outrage, but they keep going to the movies and they keep watching the shows and
Right.
they keep buying the current thing.
Well, that was the big rift between like, not getting CG political here, but like the big rift between like the what the heck are they called, Fandom Menace groups, and then like EVS and those kind of people. That was the big thing. Is one guy, EVS would say like, well, you should be creating something, but you have like the Nerdrotic, the Geeks and Gamers side, all those people were literally they kind of just consume the product and call the stuff out.
Right.
Which I think there's a place for both. I just for me, it's tiring. I can't even watch outrage culture war videos anymore because it's just tiring because I've heard it all at this point, and I'd rather just have something new,
Yeah.
create something new, or just listen to old stuff, or watch old stuff, read old stuff. And
I just think if you go to a content creator who's grifting on the whole outrage thing, and if you can look at current videos and you find a video titled "Company Doomed," everybody panics, something bombs, right?
Disney is effed,
Right?
I see
So
those
you
ones
could-
usually on a
if
regular
you
basis.
if you could see a current video or whatever, right, has got that headline, and if you can go back through their catalog years and find videos with the same headline about the same company,
And it's always a picture of like Bob Iger with like a frowny face and a teardrop.
there's the teardrop, the explosion, it's like always, or there's the content creator's face on the thumbnail.
I'll say their
You know,
thumbnail
they're
game is on
like-
point. I am yet to figure out the
The
formula,
thumbnail
'cause
game
their
is on
thumbnails
point.
are amazing.
I've been trying to reflect that with my Rumble thumbnails that are all they're all the white or the white text with like the red highlighted words,
Yes.
like the negatives, just stupid
Those are the
stuff.
best.
But
Yeah, you gotta
I mean,
you
I
gotta face
just-
more. You gotta morph the faces to be frowny faces with teardrops, and they're all screaming and crying.
yeah, I just
Those are the best
hope
ones.
people that are really, really tired of it just. I don't know. I think there needs to be a shift away from the outrage stuff, and people need to just be like, we need to do something. People need to start doing something, supporting something.
Well,
building
it gets you
something.
amped up. I mean, I do think that there's a place for that stuff. I don't think there needs to be as many as there are because there's like 8,000 people doing the same content,
Mhm.
and they all usually end up on Friday Night Tights. They all kind of just gather together. They should just have like one channel for all of them at this point. But
Right.
I think there's a place for that stuff. But yeah, I mean, at some point you watch enough of those videos, you get really frustrated. But then the video's over, and what are you left with? You're mad, and you can't do anything. It's like, yeah, they get you mad, and it's like, don't give them your money. It's like, okay, I'm not going to give my money, but then like nothing changes because other people are still giving them money anyway. But yeah, I'm all for new stuff. I wish what annoys me is that there's not indie filmmakers out there using small budgets because they could easily recreate the movie magic of the 80s with the budgets that they probably have now.
Right.
Because all modern movies, they all they use like these $1 billion budgets. You could take like a few $1,000s if you're an indie filmmaker and probably make something that looks nicer than like RoboCop.
Did you guys see Nefarious? Have you watched that?
I
No.
haven't seen that one. No,
Do you know anything about it?
Yeah.
no, I don't even know what that is. Nefarious?
So it's a movie came out just a little bit ago. It's a Christian horror flick. And
Oh, that's the
The-
Christian horror one.
yeah, the guy, he's on death row.
I heard about that one. It's not that it's not. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a place for that stuff if that's what you're into. Watch it. I don't know if that's what they meant by that, but
So it's the thing with the guy. He's on death row, and the state sends this guy in to go like interview him basically to see if he's mentally fit for execution. So he has to, because if he's not, like if he's actually insane, then the state can't legally execute him. The movie's fantastic. Like it's really, really intense. And almost the entire movie is just this conversation. It's just the two actors sitting at a table in a room talking. And it was absolutely fantastic. And I have to imagine the budget for it was next to nothing.
Is it Angel Studios? Is it those guys?
I don't think they did it.
No.
I don't remember. I could be wrong. I don't think that they did, but
Does Kirk
Either
Cameron
way,
have,
I mean,
have
it was-
a cameo in it? Is what I want to know.
there's no Kirk Cameron, there's no Kevin Sorbo.
Because that's the seal of approval. You get a Kirk Cameron cameo. That's how you know it's a Christian movie.
But it was amazing. But the thing that's so funny is like a few days before I watched it, I'd watched The Pope's Exorcist. And that's that new one with Russell Crowe. And it sucked. It was so bad. It's like a huge budget Hollywood exorcism demon possession movie, and it just followed the same cliche storyline, the same pacing, and it ends in like a huge over the top fantastic like big budget ending, where the popes are like, oh, you're compelled in the name of Christ, and everything's glowing and flying, and it's like super over the top, and it wasn't very good. But then I saw Nefarious, and it was kind of mind blowing how much better of a movie it was. And there's literally like
keep things simple and small budget. It makes for more creative films. When you can just rely on a $1 billion budget for special effects, it makes lazy writing. And Curious is that how you say Curious Comics? I mean, Christian horror. I mean, I remember getting books like Frank Peretti and those guys. I mean, that probably doesn't scare anybody, but I mean, that genre I know does exist, like Christian horror and Christian sci-fi, and there have been decent authors that have tackled that.
Horror is the perfect genre for Christian storytelling, because horror is the genre that is like it's the place that is most acceptable to confront issues of like good and evil without and you don't have to pretend that evil doesn't exist and all that type of stuff. Like in the realm of horror, evil has to exist. Like it's an essential part of it. So if you're going to confront something, a topic of evil, horror is the best place to do it. It's a better genre for Christianity than most
books.
I think.
I think books, Christian horror books, I think work even better than film, because you can write about some pretty awful stuff in a book, and Christians won't be offended by it. But like the second you put it on a movie, they'll
That's true.
they'll lose their minds.
Gasp.
Yeah, This Present Darkness. Frank Peretti. I love that book. I grew up
really good.
growing up in church and stuff. I loved like anything that involved like angels and demons. Like that stuff blew my mind. Like who is it? Randy Alcorn did like a sequel to Screw Tape Letters. It was called it was Lord Falgren's Letters, and I love the heck out of that.
Screw Tape Letters is amazing.
I love Screw Tape Letters. It's so good. Very creative. It's funny because that one. So I had never heard of. It's funny, growing up in church, I heard of Randy Alcorn before I heard of C.S. Lewis. And so I read his version of, I mean, I didn't really know who C.S. Lewis was. I'd heard of like the Chronicles of Narnia, but I didn't know anything about it. But my first introduction to it was Randy Alcorn, because he wrote Lord Falgren's Letters. And it was more than just letters. Like he actually had like plot and stuff around it. And then you would like read the letters and then see what's going on in the plot. And so then when I found out about Screw Tape Letters, I didn't realize it was literally just a book full of letters that you kind of gather the plot. It caught me off guard when I was little. I wasn't into it until a lot later when I read it. I was like, oh, this is actually much more creative than what the other guy did. Yeah. This Present Darkness, though, there are a few of those, weren't there? Wasn't there? I remember there was Piercing the Darkness, and then there was one after that, I thought. And there was another one. It was a trilogy of books, and it was all about the fall of the angels. It was all about like Lucifer up in heaven, and it was all about leading up to that revolt.
Right.
And I remember they got really stupid after the first book, but the first book was really pretty interesting. There's good content out there. There were some good Christian, at least back in the day. I remember there were a lot of good Christian authors.
The Oath by Frank Peretti is really good.
Yes, The Oath. Yep.
Fantastic. Monster was really good by Frank Peretti. I never read The Visitation, but I heard that's good.
I think my
But
brother.
yeah,
had that
he's
one.
good, man. He's a good solid source for Christian horror.
What was the Oath the one where like that black ooze like forms on their chest? That was The Oath.
Yeah.
Again, that is a story that works as a book, but if they put that in movie form, somebody would have been really offended by that, because it's all about like premarital relations and stuff that the guy has, and kind of like your two heroes sort of hook up at one point, and then.
Did you? Oh.
When I first heard the Screw Tape Letters, I thought it was DJ Screw Music.
Did you put this one up already? This Present Darkness Inspire Me?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Okay,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what triggered you talking about it, but yeah.
Well, I think I'd mentioned it, but yeah, then he kind of brought me back to it because
Yeah, those books are so good, man.
were there
I
three
think
of them or was it just two? I don't remember now.
it was two, and it was This Present Darkness and Piercing the Darkness.
Yeah, I remember there wasn't a
in
third
that
one.
series.
They never did a third.
The one I was trying
No.
to find because I couldn't remember the details on it. I think Frank Pirelli did did a book with Ted Decker called House.
I
Yeah,
was literally about to
and
bring up
it
Ted Decker
was-
as one of the.
It was made into a movie, a 2008 movie. House was, and it has what's his face? Michael Madsen is in it.
Yeah, Michael
I have
Madsen.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
yeah.
It's got a very kind of like 2000s look to it, but
I think
finding Christian horror movies is difficult.
I heard that their goal of making that movie was to hopefully raise funds so they can make one of the more, I don't know if it's a Peretti book or a Decker book. It might have been This Present Darkness or something. They wanted to raise money to make something that was more big budget. Obviously, that didn't happen, but that would have been cool to see a This Present Darkness on the big
Oh, yeah.
screen. But it's far too Christian. It's very, very overtly Christian.
Yeah, but horror
very-
can be. That's
Yeah.
the good thing about horror, right? I mean, think about literally every demonic and exorcist related movie, like
Yeah.
all the priests and come in and do the rites, and like that's why I'm saying it's such a great genre for
Yeah.
anything.
I was-
faith-based.
I was on it's not out yet, but I was on a podcast recently. It comes out in October, I think. Ricky Pope's podcast. I think it's called Christian Nerds Unite. And we got on the subject of horror and Christian. He's like, how do you reconcile like writing horror and doing horror comic with being a Christian? And so I talked about that, like how it's a biblical genre, but also, and it is like, I mean, you read the Bible, just read the Bible. It's filled with horror. But I mean, from the beginning to the end, like Revelation is horrific. A flood that kills an entire world full of people is horrific. There's horrific things, and there's things that are there to scare you. But when you go to like Hollywood, though, Dave might know this, but the formula for writing horror films is called the main one that screenwriters use is called MITH, MITH. It stands for Monster in the House. And there's three parts of the formula. There's a monster, which can be a monster or not a monster. It can be a tornado or a person or a monster or a virus or a shark. There's a house, which can be a house or not a house. It can be a whole city or a whole world or a whole universe. And then there's a sin. And the sin is the thing that it's like generally it's the hubris of man, but there's a sin that kind of gives the monster permission or triggers the monster to start wreaking havoc in the house. And so it worked, if you watch a horror movie thinking about those three things, it's pretty true. I think Jaws is a really good example because Jaws has the monster, an actual monster. It's a shark. The house is like the beach. There's the ocean and the beach there. And the sin is the hubris of the the city officials who keep the beach open because they don't want to mess up tourist season. So anyway, yeah, it's interesting that like as you're talking about horror being the perfect genre for Christian storytelling, that even Hollywood, like godless Hollywood, uses like the word sin is in their formula, and sin brings about destruction. It's like, wow, you guys are onto something there. You should really tap into that. Anyway, yeah, it's good stuff.
Chronicles of the Host. That was the name of it. Who wrote it? Brian.
Chronicles
Schaefer.
of the Host.
Yeah. That was driving me nuts. I was trying to think of what it was. It was a series about angels. But the first book I remember took place in heaven. It was before the fall, but it was leading up to it. And you kind of like get into the mind of Lucifer when he's up there, and it was interesting. I liked it a lot. The second book kind of just got dumb after that, but probably too
Never heard of
Christian.
that one.
Yeah, I was having a hard
Christian for
time
me.
finding it, just looking it up. I don't even remember how I Must have been we had a Christian bookstore nearby growing up that I used to just go and just get random stuff from. But yeah,
You
it was an
know-
interesting series. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just on the Ted Decker note, his books are good too. I read the Circle trilogy, and then there's like a fourth one. It's like black, red, white, and green, I think. Really interesting series. I wouldn't call it horror, but it's good.
I have read. I didn't read the ones after it though, because I never
You
read
can
it.
read them in any order. I think it's interesting. There's like a cycle. It's really,
Oh, they're not
it's
meant to
really
be
weird.
read in order.
Well, no, they are, but I think that once the fourth one, Green, came out, you can. I don't know if you can read them in any order, but I think you can read. You can start with Green, or you can start with whatever the first one is, Red.
Yeah, I have that
There's
one.
a circle.
I just never
Yeah,
read it.
is that the first one? I
Yeah.
think that's the first one. Yeah.
No, it's actually it says book 2.
Oh, okay. So
Hmm.
maybe Black was the first one. Black, white, and red, I think, are
I
the three.
borrowed
But
it from my brother. I never gave it back.
those are good. There is horror in them, but they're not. I wouldn't call them horror. They're more like fantasy. But
Curious
they're
Comics says
about
the
a
message is what separates it from the secular.
Yeah.
And Samurai comic book is based on. Wait, is that Samarex? Is that the same guy that Much just interviewed?
Is it? Is it Curious? Are
Curious,
you the guy
Samarex?
Macho
Is that
interviewed?
you?
Or Muttman interviewed? 'Cause that's another samurai book. If not, I think we can use more samurais in our storytelling. They're cool.
Especially if they're like a Bigfoot or something.
Warning: it's full of blood and deities.
Oh,
Cool with those.
again, you can put it in a book, but you put that in a movie. Scare the Christian Karens away.
Oh yeah.
But this, I think the importance of this, I'm going to tie back to the Starfield thing and then
Yep.
like the whole outrage stuff, is like this stuff exists, right? These books exist, these movies exist, these creators exist. They're out there, and there's stuff that's been done in the past that I think, like, with people being so tired of what's being put out, that pointing them to like materials, right? Books like
Right.
these, like, hey, there are writers who did this, or there's storytellers that did that. You can
Yeah.
go pick their stuff up. I think doing that is super duper important. I think it's like a double-edged sword. No, it's not double-edged sword. That's totally wrong expression. It's just it's kind of two things. Like you can point people back to the stuff that's already been done, and the
Right.
stuff that already exists, and then making new things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's years and years of content out there, books and music and movies and TV shows, and what
It's just a
have you.
problem. The going forward problem, I think, is just the fact that, like, you go from 20, 30 years ago to now, the industries are dominated by like that ideology, right? Like the platforms that people are behind, the distribution companies and production companies, and the platforms and streaming services and stuff. Like they completely dominate and control the gates, of what's going to be allowed. So
That's why we go back to.
there needs to be new stuff. We can't
Yeah.
go back though. That's the thing. Like we can
No,
like
I'm
this
talking
stuff.
about technology-wise. We might just
Oh,
need
yeah.
to resort to VHS tapes and cassettes again, and then.
All these wild things, like physical media. Yeah, I don't know.
I do think there's a play. I think physical media needs to dominate again. I think it's
does.
important.
It won't get the stealth edits. But yeah, I think for me personally, the whole heel versus babyface thing kind of broke something for me. And on one hand, I could say I could agree with the thing.
Yeah.
For me, it was like it felt like a straw. Like this whole like performance, it has to like you got to move past it. Like you got to start moving past it now. Like like did you see about the Nexus mods? I think it was Nexus mods.
Yeah.
What happened with that afterwards? That somebody made a mod that removed the pronoun selection and it got banned.
Yeah, and they banned the creators too.
The same thing happened when the Spider-Man game came out.
Mm-hmm.
With all the rainbow flags. If you saw it, did you see anything about that, Mark?
Wait, what is this? What Spider-Man game?
The
PS4 one?
No, it would have been on PC. right? For
Is
the
it the
mods.
Miles
I think it was
Morales
probably it's either Miles Morales or the remastered Spider-Man. That there's an area in the game or part of the game. I guess there's all these.
There was a
Rainbow.
BLM.
No, this was rainbow flags, right? That were all over in
Oh.
some part of the game, and a mod had it where it could just be American flags. And same thing, the mod itself and the mod who created it, it was all banned. But the thing, from what I read, the thing that's so insane about it is he didn't mod it where he added the textures and everything, so it would be American flags. It modded it so that it would give you how the game appears, I think, in Saudi Arabia or in some Middle
really?
Eastern countries. Yeah.
Oh,
So it gave you
That's
that
funny.
version of the flags. It didn't even change anything. It was just taking from a different
Stat, you punk. It's last minute because we weren't planning on streaming tonight until 2 minutes before we started. Twerp.
but that's where you can really see where it is controlled. Like it's not like a in the game it could just be an innocent option to be like, okay, well, pick your pronoun, pick your
Right.
gender, pick whatever while you're doing that. But then the difference is in the whole modding thing that came after it. Like that's where you can
Right.
see it's like, well,
I heard something about Starfield where you're actually it's impossible to mod that out of it. Like they did something.
That's
so
what
like
he's saying.
it's like a staple of. Is that what you were
they-
talking about? Was that game specifically they did that?
yeah, Starfield. Yeah, somebody created
Okay.
a mod to remove it from the game, and then they banned the mod and the creator of the mod. Like,
I thought you were just talking about the rainbow
Nuked it.
thing in the Spider-Man game.
that
Oh, yeah.
was before. That was like
Oh.
last year,
Sorry,
and then this thing
Yeah.
just happened.
They
With
just keep doing it. It's funny
That's-
because like
that's
in
it
that-
all just
bigger
runs
issue.
together at some point. It's all the same crap keeps happening over and over.
yeah, basically.
yeah, the outrage guys have a really good point that the left is like, it's not a big pronouns aren't a big deal. They're not a big deal. But then they ban the mod creator and the mod that removes pronouns from if they're not a big deal, just let them put them on. This is a single player game. You can't play with anybody else. If a person wants their gaming experience to be a specific way, mods can make it that way. There's no reason to stop that other than the company, the Nexus or whatever, virtue signaling. Oh, we want inclusion. We're all about inclusion. Well, what about including people who don't want pronouns in their game? Like their whole theory, their whole mindset, their whole like way of thinking breaks down very easily with a little bit of scrutiny because it's
'Cause they're not
self-refuting. If you
thinking.
want to be inclusive, then you'll include everybody. The problem with that is you have to include people that disagree with you. So you're not inclusive at that point.
Hey, what's up, Pop?
Hey, what up?
I'll tell you what. Pop is getting a deal with. I think he's been talking about it. I think he's trying to set up some kind of new network somewhere. I won't talk about it if I'm not entitled to speak about it. But I know he's starting something up soon that is promising. So
Nice.
I didn't know if that was a secret or not, Pop. So I almost spilled the beans there. But you are doing something cool, and people should keep an eye on what he's got going on. But yeah.
This is me too. I probably all of us Christians, on Breaking Rad, we want to create stuff. It's not always overtly.
Okay, so it is
super
out there.
Christian.
Sorry.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's said he's doing something with Roku where he's going to get his own station or something set up on
Really?
there. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so it's already active. Okay, I didn't want to speak out of turn. Yeah, that is very
Nice.
cool. Yeah, look up. Check out Madness Comics on Twitter and see what he's up to because he's pretty fed up with the platforms too, and he's just doing his own thing now. So
Good.
yeah, sorry, Cal, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's all right.
I had to go into something.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was just saying. I think that what Curious Comics is saying is kind of how we all feel, and we want to put entertainment out there that's not, that's not garbage. That's not going to pollute Christians' minds when they read it. And not all of our stories are like super overtly Christian, but our worldview goes into our storytelling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're typically your beliefs tend to influence your storytelling. So
Yeah.
It's not that it ever has to be overtly Christian. Even Starfetched, what I'm working on, isn't overtly Christian, but that stuff bleeds into it in
Right.
some ways, like it, if you're paying attention, you might pick up on one or two things, but I'd even say that for people on the other side of things, if they're making cool stories and that happens to be their, if you're making something interesting, that's not, being offensive to everyone, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't really care where your
Speaking
influence
of
came from.
people who put their worldview into their comic books, this guy did. Todd McFarlane. Have you seen this, David? I'm sure you have because
Unwanted
you own the
Violence?
comic shop. Huh?
That particular unwanted
Yeah,
violence.
this one. It just came
I
out a
haven't.
couple weeks ago.
Nobody got it.
Yeah,
didn't see it.
I found a local shop that that pretty much gets everything new, and so they just have a couple. They have a couple copies of everything, and I went in because there's a book called Edenwood by Andrew something. It's an
Andrew
image book.
WK.
It's I don't know what his last name is.
It's about partying.
But huh?
Nothing. I made an Andrew WK reference.
I don't know who that is.
He's a singer. You remember Andrew WK? We
No.
want to party and a party and a party. You see that? Remember that album cover, that dude with the smashed face? Give himself a
I
bloody
don't remember
nose.
any of this.
Oh,
I'm not a heathen.
man.
I'm not a heathen like you. I'm listening to secular music.
The good old days. Those good old days.
Anyway, I went in to pick up that book and they didn't have it because it's not out yet. But I got a couple of. I got this one too. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. I just saw this
That's
pop
all right.
up. Let me make you.
That's okay. Yep.
Zoop.
Just this is the Spawn Batman, the new one. Okay, you can put Drag the Dead back up.
See, Stat knows what I'm talking about. He feels me.
Legends has it Andrew WK is still partying.
If you don't know who he is, you're not gonna
No, I don't
care
get
about
it.
the jokes. His whole album was all
Anywho.
about partying, and like every song had the word
okay.
party in it. And do you remember
He's a
him,
partier.
Dave? I feel like you would have listened to Andrew WK.
That does not ring a bell whatsoever.
Bunch of old fogies in here.
Andrew WK.
Yeah, you guys remember Andrew WK?
I don't remember him.
Man, are you playing right now, Dave, or is this like a demo?
I'm playing. Is that super loud?
I can't hear anything. You don't have sound on. I think we ran into this before, where it only like if you're sharing.
Oh no, you're not gonna hear anything.
Oh, okay.
So
I hear you clicking and like grunting.
Keep
when you play the game.
keep talking as normal about Andrew WK.
That's fine. No one listen to Andrew WK except me and Stat. So good on you. I'll tell you, Stat has been streaming like a beast lately.
Really?
Yeah. Like every night or every day. Stat, when are you streaming? Are you doing daytime or evening? He's been doing draw streams like nonstop.
Oh, cool. I don't watch.
Which I would love to do, but I don't think people want to sit and watch me just erase for 3 hours, because that's basically all I do. Like it takes me 5 hours to draw a picture. Because all I do is erase stuff and make mistakes and get angry. And then give
Respectable.
up and like browse YouTube for a while and then start drawing again, and when I'm feeling inspired again.
I gotta check out some of I'll check out Stats draw streams if he puts my Coffee Brothers on there. I love those boys.
Stat, do you we're just chilling, man. Do you want to come in and hang for a bit?
I had
I
one
don't
of
know how long we're
Stat's
gonna go for.
streams
that?
on the other. I had one of his streams on the other day at work, but
Oh, that's cool.
I was too just ended up getting too distracted with customers.
Stat, I'm gonna send you a link, buddy. Hop on in if you're around.
Yeah, it's been too long since we had Stat on.
Yeah, it is. But I was just thinking about him lately. We haven't talked to him in a while. Coffee Brother, man, I would kill for another Coffee Brothers. I always want to cut that up and make it a segment on the channel, but I feel like I need his permission to do that, because I want to just take credit for it and make it a Breaking Rad thing. Breaking Rad presents the Coffee Brothers.
Yeah, it's
Stat,
a
I sent
Breaking
you a
Rad
link
thing.
on Twitter if you want to come hang, buddy.
We made it. No.
I know I should edit him out and like just put like Mutt's profile pic over his image and voice over it. Hey, this is old Muddy's comic we're doing. So Dave, what was the oh, there he is. What's your what was the latest update you put out for this? What's up, Statty?
Hey,
What was the latest update?
Yeah, you said you patched this thing recently, didn't you? Or put out a new patch or something?
We did. Look in the upper left.
Oh, is that the social credit score?
You see the zombie
Yeah.
here? See how I just took care of him? Look at my score went down.
Makes your credit score.
That's awesome, dude.
See, my score
That's so funny.
is dropping
Oh my god.
as I deal with the
it's a
zombies.
great idea.
Stat, you've been going nuts lately, man. You've been doing draw streams like a beast.
Yeah, I asked for prompts from like followers in chat, and I got like 70 or 80 of them.
Yeah.
So I put them in this this Post-it cube, and I'll pull one every night or day or whatever, do a random stream, and just draw whatever's on the.
So that, man, I envy that about you. You're very quick when it comes to drawing. Like you can sit down and draw something very.
Yeah, but none of
quickly.
it's very good.
It's all very good. Shut your mouth. It's all
Shut your
good.
Gosh darn mouth.
You shut your filthy.
Shut your filthy pie hole.
You shut your pie hole. Yeah. You need to bring back those good old. We just watched. My wife and I just watched Uncle Buck. You know,
Oh, classic.
I hadn't seen that in ages. That's one of those few that really still holds up. It did not age poorly at all.
No. I'm sure
take
it
it
wouldn't be
back.
made today, but
No, you cannot get away with any of that stuff nowadays. Any of it. It's so good though. I often wonder if like John Candy would have been a raging leftist if he were still alive today.
oh, he's Canadian. There's a large section. Well, not just Canadian, but Canadian Hollywood. So I mean, a large section of
Oof.
those guys are pretty.
I refuse to
course,
believe
no.
Rick Moranis is a lefty. He is.
I think he is.
conservative as- No. You shut your mouth.
But at the same time, Candy was like a dude that liked to be kind of just in the country on his little ranch, off away from people too. So who knows?
Oh yeah. Andy was a cool comedian, genuine gay.
Is there any from that group that's not a raging lefty?
Not that I
Who was
can
even
think.
in that
I mean,
group? The CRTV. It was a CRTV.
you had Joe Flaherty. I'm not sure what he's up to right now, but like Eugene Levy and Kathy O'Hara, both pretty big left to the left. You had, of course, Martin Short. I think he and Steve Martin are both pretty good
Were
in
they
the left.
lefties too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had Dave Thomas, of course, the other half of Strange Brew. You had
Wasn't that the Wendy's guy? Wasn't that Dave Thomas?
well, same name.
Love that guy. Love Dave.
Kind of reminds me of Michael Bolton from Office Space.
Yeah.
That was Dave Thomas was one of those people I really wanted to meet when I was growing up, and so that was like the one celebrity death that hit really hard because I was like, I'm never going to get my dream of meeting Dave Thomas.
Like the founder of Wendy's?
Yeah, I just wanted to meet him. I don't know why. He was always in the commercials. He was in all his commercials. You just seemed like the friendliest guy. He'd always just show up and give you a burger. I feel like if I met him on the street, like he would have a burger ready, like in his pocket, like keeping it warm.
That's questionable, man.
That would have been my dream. He just pulls out a handful of French fries, those like big,
Gosh,
thick
there's
Wendy's
quite a
French
few.
fries from back in the day. Had no flavor.
You're right. Let's see. Well, Harold Ramis passed on. Andrea Martin, I
Yeah.
think, is left. Yeah, I think most of them are. A lot of them are
Boys.
Canadian. So I mean,
Have they? Has Steve Martin been overtly political? I feel like I don't hear anything. He just kind of plays his banjo and keeps to himself. It seems like.
it's in the jokes. You know,
Hmm.
He's overtly
makes-
atheist.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He's fairly it's if you watch the jokes and stuff like that, there's some just you can tell.
He's a comedian that like his movies were great, Steve Martin, but I've watched his stand up and I could never get into
Yeah.
his stand up. Like it's very like dad humor. Like,
Oh, he had a great opening joke.
it felt
where
like it was
where
outdated even back then. The jokes he was telling.
I can't remember that. It was pretty recently in the last few years. He had a great joke. He came out and he said, "I'm really sorry I'm late. I was in the bathroom and there was a sign that said employees must wash hands, and I couldn't find an employee to wash my hands."
That's what I mean. He's all dad jokes.
Yeah. Well, you go with what I mean. He was at one point the biggest stand-up comedian in the world.
Yeah, and I never understood it. I've watched a ton of it, and I have not even gotten a chuckle out of his stand-up.
Well, I think the problem was he worked really well in like small clubs, which is what he liked doing, and all of his jokes worked terribly for stadiums. And that's kind of where he found himself. So he just kind of finished his obligations and quit for good.
Actually, you know what? I lied. He when he was on Johnny Carson, he did that one thing where he had the cigarette that he kept putting in his pants, and his pants kept smoking the cigarette. So he kept pulling things out of his pants. What was his name? The Great Flydini? Was that his routine?
I remember that routine.
He would like pull stuff out of his fly, and that was genuinely funny. Just because I like good crotch humor.
I mean, he never played a banjo like that.
Yeah, Robin Williams managed to. He was goofy, but he was funny. Steve Martin was just I don't know, like that one friend in the group that's just like over the top, trying to be funny and just kind of makes everybody uncomfortable. That's Steve Martin to me. Who did you say though? Is that?
Well, who?
I thought you just said somebody. Maybe not.
No, I went through all the SCTV guys. Like,
No.
I think most of them are probably pretty. I think the thing with Rick Moranis is he's not outspoken because he just wants to kind of be left alone. He left a lot of it behind. So,
which makes me think he's probably not on the left because he just.
No, his wife died of cancer.
And
is
that why he left? Is that why he quit? Just to raise the kids?
His wife died of cancer, and then he had a ton of investments that he paid off. So he didn't need to act. So he went ahead and just.
Do we got Lucas? What's up, my man? This is David Murdoch's game that he put out on Steam. Not allowed to have the volume. There's no volume right now, so.
No, it's a StreamYard thing.
Yeah, this is
so we get
Drag the Dead.
Some kind of audio mixer.
Oh, Cal's gonna be sad. He's missing Rev and Rep in the chat. Yeah, we're just watching. Just chilling with Stat right now. I'm watching Dave play.
Cal wasn't turned into a couch.
Play his game. Thing with Cal, he never warns you when he's gonna do something. He'll just go off camera.
He should have like a little beard and a hat that he puts on the couch so that could be couch.
Couch. Badoom. There's a Steve Martin joke for you right there. Instead, are you so why have you been so active on streams lately? You just you trying to build the channel up, or you just bored?
Not really. I think it's actually having the opposite effect.
Is it killing your channel?
I mean, you do it on live and it's never going to grow, but no, I just it was kind of a way, like there's usually 5 to 8, maybe 10 people that show up each time.
You have a good chunk of people watching. I never get to watch because I'm at work usually, but
yeah, there's quite a few lurkers too, which is a-okay with me. But they and then I get some on replay, but they like to just sit and chat. So I had 2 choices. I could do a time lapse, which doesn't look very good because you got to slow it down to 4%, and then it's just like ding, ding, ding.
I have to speed mine up. If I do a time lapse of my drawing, it has to be like 1,000% speed.
Why?
Because I'm such a slow drawer.
Oh
I
man,
draw slow. I make so many mistakes. Like it would just be like edited to death.
If you just do it in like what is it, Clip Studio, it'll record it for you. But like if you're doing it in an hour, it'll bring it down to like 20 seconds.
Oh really?
So, yeah. So it goes super fast. So I have to bring it down to like from that 20 seconds to like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're a fast artist. That's
Fresco does that too, Mark.
Yeah. So just like it was either that or just kind of sit and draw.
Look, I don't want to get our stream banned, but Fresco's gay. And I will not use it.
Never heard of it.
For life.
Wait, no,
procreate, because that's what straight men do. We procreate. So there you go.
But it's Apple.
By the way, Cal, our boys that we got Lucas in the chat.
Yeah, I heard. I was listening. I just had to go pee, so I don't want you guys to listen in on that.
Oh, you should have done it. That would have been way more entertaining than listening to
Just
me.
fill
talk
in a
about
water
what bad
bottle, it's
artist I am. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you had to fill a bottle? I got close. I didn't do it though.
No.
I used to drive to Boston every day for work, and if there was an accident on the Zakim Bridge, you were going to be in traffic for a good 5 hours, and it got real close. I had the bottle ready, but I realized that there were like trucks that were taller than my car that could easily see in if I went for it. So
Well,
I
that's
kinda
when you got to
just
like stare at them while you do it, and don't break
look them in the
eye
eyes when I whip it out. Too.
contact. Power move. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Lock the doors and look them in the eye.
Yeah. Roll down the window, maybe wink at them.
That might go over differently now in Boston. I don't know.
Would you have saved that for like a sports team or something you didn't like? Like somebody's got like a jersey, and you just like
you.
throwing
The
hooligan style?
Yankees.
Yeah,
It
there
would
you
have been
go.
the Yankees if it were anybody. This is the Boston.
What in
days.
Boston?
Hey man, I was a New Englander, dude. It was Boston all the way.
I was gonna say I don't think you'd have a lot of Yankees fans in Boston.
That's debatable, but thank you. You saved that for the Yankees fans. You look them.
Yeah.
I used an OJ bottle on my way to Oklahoma to Texas. That's not that long a drive. Jeepers cats, man. Where in Texas were you driving to? I did hot shot for 3 years. Empty water bottles were always on standby. I never brought myself to do it. I couldn't do it. I'm pee shy. I can't. If there's people around, if
What you
anyone's in the
need is,
urinal
like-
next to me, like the stream will stop immediately.
You need like a PVC tube, and then you can just hook that up to the bottle and just drive. No problem.
Got like a mousetrap contraction
Yeah.
going on in there. One of those.
Perfect. Yep. Entertain the kids. Why not? SP's going through the car. We're making good time too.
It's a quick way to lose custody. I have get the kids in. I'm like, check out my pee contraption.
Well, that's only bad if you're like passing the bottle around. Like, you want to hit?
Who wants
Wanna
to
go
do
for it?
Who's up next?
Mix that.
Got 5 bottles down here, boys. It's hard to do it while driving. Yeah, I mean the situation I was in where it got close, I wasn't driving. I was just sitting in my car at that point because the traffic had just stopped for a good 3 hours. And
Well, that's when if you had a sweatshirt or a coat or something, you got to roll the window down just a little bit and put it in there and then roll it up so it stops and then you can go with no one looking.
my thing is, I have a hard time with their. Say I fill the bottle and now I'm stuck in traffic and I just have a bottle full of my fluids. Like, I'm not going to leave that in the car. I'm either going to dump it out on the highway or just throw the bottle out.
As you're driving and you get somebody behind you that's driving too close, you just kind of bring the window down and dump the bottle.
That's what you did for the Yankees fans.
Perfect.
Me talking like I actually give a crap about sports. I did not.
That's just when you target anybody with the mascot on their hat. That looks like a sports team.
Go sports.
It doesn't look.
Go
I don't
sports
recognize
ball.
it from the comics.
Move the thing to the other thing. Go sports. Go Sox.
Dave's almost at negative 10,000 on his social.
He is
score.
not. Is there a benefit to the social credit score? Does anything happen when it gets?
Yeah, when we put the social credit score in, we added a global leaderboard.
Oh.
Yes.
So,
No trophies?
So on the global leaderboard, the lowest score wins.
Do you have trophies in here?
Well, see, that's the thing about the leaderboard
That's
is
the thing.
it's
No.
equitable. It's a very equitable leaderboard. So everybody gets first place. The whole way down the leaderboard, everybody's first place. Even
participation trophy.
Yes. Are you talking about achievements though? Are
Yeah.
there achievements?
Yeah.
Yes. There's achievements in the game.
Okay, good.
See you later. See
The
you
best
later,
the best achievement that there is the blue ribbon. achievement. All you have to do is turn the game on, and you'll get a blue ribbon.
Nice. Those are the
And then
best
we've
kind.
got some others in there, but I have to watch out for these guys. See, these are the soy boys right here. And the thing that's different about them is if you get a chance to actually look, which you're not going to get a chance, they've got like tumors on them.
Oh,
But rather than chasing me to try and swat me, they are throwing milkshakes at me.
I feel like it would be like, like in Metal Gear Solid when they get that exclamation point when they see you. Those guys should have like done that like that O face point like they do for like the chicken nuggets or whatever like that.
I got killed by a milkshake. I got Andy Node.
No.
I got hit with a concrete milkshake.
Hmm.
See, these are the leaderboards. If they populate. So everybody who's on it at the moment, they all get first place.
Wow.
Very equitable. It shows you care.
Oh yeah.
No matter how hard you work, you have the same score as everybody else.
No, see, but it's sorted. It's sorted correctly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm having this driver issue on my computer. Where like if you start alt tabbing too much or you alt enter or anything like that, put stuff in window mode, the monitor turns off, and I got to unplug it and plug it back in really quick.
Do you guys want to see a game I did a few years ago?
Yeah,
Not
bring it in.
Starfetched. I'll show you something.
Hey, did you do Starfetch in Unity?
I believe it was done in Unity. Yeah, I hear that.
So you've been paying attention, right, to all the Unity stuff going on?
Yes, I have been. I don't.
So,
care.
what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's skeezy what they did. That was terribly skeezy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Unity just one day decided. Now I'm not clear on all the details because I didn't personally use Unity, but the developers did. They decided that they were going to implement, because I guess they're running out of money, where they're going to start charging the developers extra fees for every download. Is that what it was?
Oh wow.
For everybody that downloads the game
It's per install.
per install.
So every time a game is installed, they take 20 cents.
Ridiculous.
And that presumably would count pirated versions of the game, or if you have it on two computers.
Yeah, so that is part of the problem. So if you bought the game and installed it, they'll take 20 cents. If you get a new PC, reinstalled on your new hardware, it's another install, another 20 cents.
Wow.
They keep claiming that there will be ways to prevent people from just downloading it multiple or installing multiple times, but they gave no clarification on how they would do that.
Yeah.
But apparently they're kind of walking it back, and they're going to make changes because they're getting spanked over it. But
Not unified, huh?
hey-o. Here was my game. I made a number of years ago. I made a
I like
Tiger
it.
Electronics game.
Takes me back.
I don't know. Is the sound going to come through on this? There is sound.
I was that kid trying to convince myself these are way cooler than Game Boys.
Yeah.
The thing about the installs though with Unity, it's mixed. I think I don't know. You have to have. I think it's over 200,000 installs to even get to where they start to count it. And for game development, it'd be like, all right, so you guys do a comic book, just say, and you put it out on Comixology, and then Comixology says, oh, we're gonna charge it 10 cents every time somebody installs downloads your book. And it sounds like that's ridiculous, right? That's kind of crazy. But if they tell you so, if it's over 200,000 downloads, like most people aren't going to sweat it because
Yeah, it sounded like it was
the reality is
only going to affect the bigger name, whatever people that could probably afford it anyway. But
I guess it has more to do. I don't know. Like there's it's not like I don't know even-handed, but part of me kind of thinks, okay, well, if you're a company creating the software for game developers to use to create product to put out there that they're making money on, like obviously you need to make money or else it's not sustainable. But I think the negatives are a lot more. And this guy who I guess is new CEO of Unity, or newer CEO, was a like former EA CEO. I don't know if you guys
That tells you everything you need to know right there.
Right. Have you ever heard about the guy who suggested or tossed the idea out of like microtransactions for ammunition in games? So if you're in the heat of battle, right, and you run out of ammo, to like you have to pay $1 to like refill your.
That's literally arcade games. Like you would run out of stuff and you would have to pump a quarter in to keep going.
It pretty much is, but this is the mentality of the guy, I guess, that's in charge of things over at Unity.
I remember the early stages of in-app purchases, like on mobile games. Like I used to be a huge Angry Birds fan, because I thought at a point like mobile gaming is going to be like the new, it's going to take off, because there were a lot of games that were like a ton of fun on there. Angry Birds being like their big claim to fame. And then the IAP stuff started rolling out. And I remember the first time I noticed was when I got Angry Birds. They made a Transformers game, like an Angry Birds Transformers, and it looked phenomenal. Like I remember the intro to it was amazing. Like they actually got like old school like 80s animation and the music, and it just looked incredible. And I remember about halfway through playing, I realized that there were two forms of currency in the game, and like you were getting a ton of one currency, but if you actually wanted to keep playing after you lost, it required that other currency that like you didn't really get much of. And it was like, wait, 45-minute wait time. Like what? Why? And then it was just that's all they did after that. Like every company just cranked out that same nonsense. I can't.
Speaking of nonsense, did y'all buy Mortal Kombat 1 yet?
Boom. Of course I got Mortal Kombat 1. Don't tell me that's nonsense.
I got it.
Stream
Nonsense.
Can you stream it?
I don't even have my PS5 set up yet.
No,
So.
not right.
He doesn't even have his PS5.
I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about just can you stream it?
I imagine you can. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to.
You should stream it when you start playing.
I might do that.
Your journey into Mortal Kombat 1.
MK1.
I've been doing some streaming on the Rumble channel. I've been streaming Elden Ring here and there. Probably in a couple of days, I'll do another day or two of not for the day, just for a bit. But
Cal, you like that Elden Ring stuff? Isn't that what all the young bucks are playing now? The Elden
I thought
Ring?
everybody gave that up.
Did they give that up?
nobody gave up Elden Ring. What are you talking about?
For
We're just
something
waiting for the
different.
expansion.
Whatever's new.
Well,
new?
Mr. Cal, you might want to check the stream out, because I am streaming with a randomizer mod. Everything is random. So if you start a new profile, your loadout's gonna be for that particular class, but it's completely random. The loadout that your character gets. It's random, like every material that you can get, like the row of fruit and St. Trina's lily and all that stuff. Like it's all random. You can be out in the field and pick up cave moss. All the enemies are random. All the bosses
pick up
are random.
Kate Moss? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Kate Moss.
Just walk over the hill and see like the final boss staring you in the face.
No, but almost. So like you've played it enough, right, Cal? Like,
oh yeah.
Okay, so when you start the game, you go to the first step, and then the church, and then you go over to the gate front.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first time I was playing, I did those steps and I went over to the gate front, and there's that one of those really strong knights is like patrolling right there. The guy with the shield and spear, he's like a real pain in the butt when you're first starting. So it wasn't him. It was one of the big lava dragons, like the big
crap
lava worm. Like that was what was patrolling right there.
Wow, that's quite a bit harder.
Yeah, you can get anything anywhere. I think the first time I played Godfrey, it was Mog. The first time I tried it out,
wow.
in the city. What's the city's name? You know the city. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Chicago.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played it. Yeah,
I can't remember it. So you go. The first boss is like that ghost of Godfrey.
Yeah.
You know, he's like kind of golden.
Got the ghost of
Yeah.
Gilbert Godfrey in that game.
He's going act
Yeah.
whack. He's going,
It was
oh yeah.
It was the Elden Beast was in that
Oh
room.
crap.
But
I'm
you
an
know,
Elden Beast.
so but you can go to I mean, where you expect there to be a huge boss, right? And it's nothing. It'll be like some
Yeah.
peddly guy, like the areas where those tree spirit dragons pop up, like the big root ones. You know, they're all wormy.
Yeah.
You'll go there, and instead there'll be just like some guy with a torch.
That's
So
hilarious.
it's interesting, and even like you'll go up to a corpse, and you'll see that it'll have like one of the items on it, but it's like the gold one, so you know it's a good one.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a remembrance, and you're like, oh yes, I got the remembrance of whatever Malekith. But when you go to the finger reader in the round table hold, and you give her the remembrance to cash it in, the 2 items attached to the remembrance are also random.
Oh
Like,
man.
so you're not. It's completely random.
That doesn't
it's a
sound
lot of
fun at all.
It's so fun because it's like it's a completely fresh
Right.
fresh play, and you don't know what's around every corner. And you know
Right.
the worst things is like you could be, you know, walking a ledge outside somewhere and turn a corner, and where normally there's like, you know, like a guard with a little dagger, you'll turn the
Mhm.
corner and there's one of those, you know, the giant dogs with like the big head is standing on the ledge outside of a castle. So if it even looks at you, you're falling off.
Right.
It's fun. It's a ton of fun.
I don't know
Mark-
what
Play
you're
that
talking
again
about
someday.
at all.
Mark, what it comes down to, Mark, is that you have to stream Mortal Kombat.
What it all comes down to. I'll stream it.
Friend.
Stream some.
I got to figure out how to stream from my. It's a whole different room I'm in when I
Mm.
play that, so I'll have to figure that out. I'll play it though. You guys can watch me get my butt kicked in Mortal Kombat. I'd like to play like old school Mortal Kombat. Stream that. That's how I roll. MK1.
Yeah,
my
that sounds
jam.
better.
Do you
That's
have
the
that,
one I
like
can
the arcade collection or anything like that?
I do. I've got a whole bunch of different versions of it floating around. I also have a mini arcade of Mortal Kombat 1 that you can play. It's pretty awesome. It's like that big. Do I have it somewhere?
I've got almost all of them up to. I don't have
I do have it
4.
somewhere.
I've got all of them through Armageddon.
4 was the most revolutionary Mortal Kombat. It's when it
Was it?
when it went 3D. No, I remember when it
I
came out
liked 4. I had gold.
when it came out in the arcades. I remember I like saw it.
I got this. And
the
it
cabinet.
plays.
Oh no!
Look at that
I saw the
bad boy.
cabinet for 4, and I was really excited. And I went over to it, and I was like, "What was this?" It's trying to be like Tekken and Virtua Fighter.
My battery's dead, but yeah, I do have MK1. on this
I
thing.
still
You know,
play
it's-
Deception and Armageddon.
Man, that era of Armageddon ticks me off.
Nostalgic
game.
for me.
I was pumped for it because they were like, every Mortal Kombat character ever is going to be in Armageddon. I was like, yes, I can't freaking wait for this game. And oh my gosh, it turned on. You can hear it. I didn't realize it was turning on. No, I was pumped for that because they were like, every character is going to be in it, and so I got it like the day it came out, rushed back to play it, and they got rid of the fatality system. They did that creative fatality system.
Well, they got like 50, 60 characters in there. What are they?
Doesn't
supposed
matter
to
if you're
do?
gonna make Armageddon, you have to like be willing to commit to the bit and like have everybody with their fatalities in there.
I
But
think it's better for couch co-op with you've got the person next to him. You're like, what do you want next? Your arm's gone? No.
it's the
Okay,
same
well, hold
thing
on.
over
hold
and
on.
over. There was no originality. It was like you can pull their liver out, you can rip an arm off and pop their
Yeah.
head off. And no, I did have Pit Fighter. I had it on the Atari Lynx. The game was terrible.
I was more of a
No, I was
Deception guy
pumped because
anyway.
I was, to me it was going to be their redemption for Mortal Kombat trilogy, which was also supposed to be like, oh, it's every character we've ever had,
Well,
and they skimped
PlayStation.
out on everything.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't get half the fatalities to work in that one. They blacked out the spine rip because they didn't want to build like the extra sprites to
My
animate
favorite
him
was
ripping the head
whenever
off of
Shang
other
Tsung-
characters.
My favorite was whenever Shang Tsung had to morph, it would stop the game for like 3 seconds.
Oh, that was the best. You knew it was about to go down when he did that. It's like, it's a
No,
little
that was
warning
terrible.
before he popped, he turned into Kano and rolled you. But no, in that era of Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon had like the worst characters, no originality in those. That's what I was
Oh,
ticked
it's
off when I
absolutely
found
true.
out.
Oh, come on now.
MK1 was gonna
Kenshi
feature
came
all
from
those
that era.
characters again. I was like, we don't need
Kenshi
Nitara.
came from that area. Everybody loves Kenshi.
He's the one good character that came out of it was Kenshi.
Plus, they had
They brought
trying
back
to think.
Rico for MK1. I just shoot me in the face already. Nobody
that's
needs
because
Rico.
maybe they made him good.
No, you can't make
It's
him good.
another
He's,
one where
he's Shao Kahn without a mask. That's
It's
all he
another
is.
one
He's
where
not
they're
interesting.
pretending to reboot, but they got like their fingers crossed behind their backs.
Maybe
How-
they'll make these characters interesting, but like that was the worst era of games when in terms of
How
characters.
convoluted is the story now, though?
Well, they reset all of it, so it's not
And
convoluted
everybody's
anymore.
I saw some of those clips. Everyone's like, "How are you doing? I am doing well. How are you? I am fine.
Is
Let's
that the
go
new
and
one?
save the world." Yeah. Nobody's
I'm
got any.
down.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's some monsters that go like, "I'm doing fine. How are you doing?"
So you're just selling me more on it. That's just making me love it more right now.
They all just stand around and just kind of.
I miss the days when you just didn't know who these characters were. You just played, and at the end they'd be like, "Haha, you just won with a bad guy," and like now they're gonna like blow up. the
That
earth.
is where
Oh,
Mortal
no!
Kombat. That is where Mortal Kombat shined with that voice acting. All right, go ahead and take me and put me in jail.
The best
No.
was, have you seen the was it the MK4 ending for Jarek?
Yeah, that's the one where he's just like, all right, okay, I surrender.
Let me
No, and then he just
Cal
drops.
needs to see this one. Jarek.
That's
This is
That's
first
peak
class
voice
writing right
acting.
here. Here we go. Let me bring this up before it starts playing on me. Here you go. Let me share this one. I think we can get away with showing it.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead. The good guys won. You're coming back with me.
Never, Sonya. I agreed to help defeat Shinnok. Not turn myself into the special forces. The Black Dragon live on.
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Never.
Come in, Major Briggs. This is Lieutenant Sonya Blade. What?
Sonya, this is Major Briggs. Come in. Sonya, this is Jax. Are you there?
So good.
That's peak voice acting in Mortal Kombat.
That was good stuff right there. MK4. Yeah, no, I wish they'd if they wanted to blow my mind, they would have actually gone back to like video sprites of people for this new one. If you're gonna call it MK1, like go like old school, like actually get like actors and stuff and do all that video capture.
That should be like a mode where you can like change it. Look like
I would have
Sub-Zero.
paid so much money for that, so much more than I paid for this one.
I don't know. It's just like the story seems like they're painting themselves into a corner and then just shrugging.
Oh, I mean they did, and they reset it.
No,
They just
timelines,
didn't
you know,
do it.
whatever. It was dimensions, now it's timelines. You
Little
know,
multi, whatever. That's all good
get a
stuff.
jail free card. Did
Cal,
you play
did you have
11? I heard
any-
a lot of,
Oh, go on. What's up?
did you play 11? I heard a lot of people didn't like it for some reason.
I have it. I never played it.
You bought
Really?
it, but never
Came
played
out
it.
like 3
Dude,
years
I
ago.
buy so many games that I don't play because I just don't have time to play games anymore. I ain't got time for games. I got Starfetch to make.
But you bought Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh yeah, this one I'm taking a break from everything to play that one though.
Oh, okay.
Time for that. No, MK11 I wanted to play. I just didn't get around to it. I played MKX.
I heard that was the peak, like for the 9, 10, 11.
It was
like,
good. I beat it
X
too.
was the 10 was the good one.
Yeah, 10 was good. I loved MK9. I thought that
Mhm.
was that game was just phenomenal. And I hated Deception. I hated Armageddon. Deadly Alliance was fun for a minute till you realize it's just not that good. The new characters suck.
That's why you play the old characters. And you make the
Yeah.
new characters pay
And the old ones weren't that good. They
for being
just-
born.
Sub-Zero without a mask. I hate that crap.
You had a mask
his
on
mask.
for almost all of them.
Yeah, that was you know. Cal, did you have a rant that you wanted to get on tonight? I thought you wanted to rant about something tonight.
No, it was. I mean, well, there was the Todd McFarlane. That's fine. I showed you.
Do you
guys
want to
the
rant
clip
about it
already.
real quick? We got
No,
one
I
viewer
don't
left.
really. I don't feel like ranting.
Fine, you're ranting.
Sounds like Kid.
Shut